Welcome back to Keyboard Shortcuts. This is part 2 of the video series Keyboard Shortcuts. Today I want to talk about keyboard shortcuts in action. So let's go ahead and get started. In this video we're going to actually build this little structure here, and we're going to do it using keyboard shortcuts. Alright, so first thing I want to do is just grab a little shape. I'm going to click. Now I've clicked and I've added a square, and let's say I wanted to make it bigger. I could just drag this out, but sometimes you may have an issue with the proportions, and let's say I still wanted it to be a square. Let me do a Control Z. So what you could do is hold down the Shift button and you can just drag it, and it's going to hold everything, all the proportions together. So it's going to be a perfect square, and that's by holding down the Shift button. So I'm just going to just make it a little bigger. And by the way, it works with lines too. So if I drag out a line and I drag the mouse to make my line and I hold the Shift button, it's going to create a straight line. And what it also does is if I keep holding the Shift button, if I move it down, it's going to move it in degrees. I'm not sure how many degrees it will, but you'll have a perfectly straight line. So that's one of the added advantages of holding down the Shift button. Okay. So let's go ahead and create the structure. So we're going to have 5 rows and four columns and 5 rows. Quickly, I'm going to do a Control D. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 5 there. And now I'm just going to drag this over here. Now this is something that's not a keyboard shortcut, but this is actually pretty useful in Google Slides. So what I want to do is do a Control A, and I want to go up to arrange. Now Control A, if you remember, that selects all of the items on the screen. So I'm going to go to arrange, and I'm going to go to align. I'm going to go align top, and then I'm going to distribute them. Okay, so I'm just going to distribute them horizontally, and now I have 5 boxes here that are evenly distributed, and they're even up here. So what I could do is now I want to make a group. So I want to do 4 more. So I would like to have 4 of these here. So instead of going through the whole process of creating another row, that would be highly inefficient. So what you want to do is you do a Control A, and I want to group these together. Now you would think it would be Control G to group these items, but in Google Slides it's a little different, and I'm just going to do a right click, and if I do a right click it's going to be a Control Alt G. So I'm going to do Control A, Control Alt G, and now I have them grouped as one group. And then all I'm going to do is just do a Control D, 1, 2, 3. So that duplicates everything. I'm going to bring it down here, do a Control A. Okay, so a Control A, I'm going to select all the items, and let me bring this down just a little bit. Again, let me do a Control A to select all, and now that I have all of the groups selected, I'm going to go up to arrange. I'm going to do a align center. So now they're all lined up, and then the next thing I need to do is just distribute them. So I'm going to come here, and now instead of horizontally, I'm going to distribute these vertically. All right. Now, so I have my little structure that I wanted. So what I could do is I'm just going to do a Control A, and I'm going to ungroup them. Okay, because I want to be able to create these here, these little colored boxes here. So what I'm going to do is ungroup them, and I'm going to do a Control A. I'm going to do a right click, and where is my ungroup? Here it is. So it's going to be a Control Alt Shift G. So you would hold that down all at the same time. So let's do it. Control A, then we want to do a Control Alt Shift G, and now they're all individuals now. Okay, I'll do a Control Z. All right, so the reason why I did that is because I want to show you another cool tool. So one of the things is, let's say I wanted to select these items here. So I want to make these green. So what I could do is select one, and then I'm going to show you 2 ways actually. So I'm going to make this green, but I could also select this, and now once I have them, I could do a Control Y, and a Control Y. What that is, that is redo. So what that does, it redoes the previous operation. It just redoes it, and it's very simple to do. The other way to do it is just simply by just holding down the control button and here, and then selecting the ones that I want. So I've had these, so let me do it again. So I have this one selected, this one here, and then this one here, and then I could just select them all at the same time. There's really no right or wrong way. It just depends on what you want to do. Now in this case, I need to finish up just by simply selecting these. So I'm going to do Control Y with this just because. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make this a blue, and then I'll do a Control Y, Control Y, Control Y, Control Y, Control Y. Boom, it's done. And then finally, let me just do a Control A because I'm going to group them as one. And I want to, for good measure, I just want to center everything. So let me move this over here just so you can get an idea, because it's kind of centered anyway. But I'm going to go ahead and move it down here, and I'm going to go to Arrange. I want to center on page horizontally, and then I'm going to go to center on page and move vertically. So there it is. So in this video, I use Control D, Control Y, Control A, Control Z, and I use the control button, as well as Control G or Control Alt G. And if I right click here let me see this. So if I right clicked here, I use these Control Alt G, and I use the Arrange menu too. I use some of the tools in here to kind of help build the structure. So that's it. Keyboard shortcuts part 2. We're going to move on to keyboard shortcuts part 3, and we're going to do that in Google Sheets.